Let's start with some week one games, shall we? It's fresh on the mind of many. We've talked about them throughout the offseason. We've had so many games circled. Let's dive in. And it's easy if we just talk about chalk flying. So let's talk about some potential upsets that could go down in week one and what some of the ramifications might look like. We will kick things off for a Sunday night game where Miami will take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. What if Miami beats Notre Dame? Notre Dame going into this game a slight, just under a field goal favorite on the road against the Hurricanes. This would be the first season opening win for Miami against a ranked opponent since they beat Florida State back in 2009. So it's been a while since they've had a marquee opportunity quite like this where they might be able to take care of business. It would also be Miami's first win over a top 10 team since beating Notre Dame back in 2017. They are 0-8 against top 10 teams since that matchup against the Irish back in 2017. Now, what would need to transpire for Miami to pull off this upset? One, we have to see the Carson Beck of 2023, not the Carson Beck of 2024. Remember in 23, Carson Beck at Georgia, just an amazing season, accurate, decisive. Going into 24, he was the Heisman frontrunner. He was the guy that everyone anticipated potentially being the number one overall pick. We need to see the previous version of Carson Beck, where he's decisive, where he's accurate, where he's got a clean pocket. He's delivering the ball to a wide receiver group that will be challenged on the outside by a remarkably physical secondary. We know Notre Dame defensively at all three levels is one of the best teams in college football. They are so good on that side of the ball. Marcus Freeman has long made that a huge priority. They play physical, they play tough, they play man coverage, they blitz you, they got great linebackers, and I think they could have improved edge defenders this year with what they have coming back. That means that if Miami wins this game, their young crop of wide receivers were probably up to the challenge of going against a ridiculously good secondary. It also probably means that Miami's offensive line, one of the best groups in the country, they stepped up against what should be one of the better defensive lines, one of the deeper, more disruptive defensive lines that we'll see in the sport this upcoming season. And what was the one Achilles heel last year of Miami? It was their secondary. Well, new defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, comes down from Minnesota, implements a little bit more, I don't want to call it a vanilla style, but a little bit less aggressive style, kind of lets the players play, and they respond in this new look defense. So that's probably what happened if Miami's going to pull off the upset. Now, what does this mean for the big picture of college football? Well, it now welcomes the possibility of Miami down the road, say late November, when being measured up against another team in Notre Dame when it comes to the college football playoff. And Miami in this scenario would have that head-to-head, which means the likelihood of the ACC getting two teams in the college football playoff like they did a year ago increases dramatically. And I know it's week one. I know people will probably look at Notre Dame and say, well, they lost week two, still made the playoff. I get that. That was last year for sure. But if going head-to-head against a team that beat them when being evaluated at season's end, that could be a difficult argument to make on behalf of the Fighting Irish. So Miami, and bigger picture for the ACC, it would be enormous if Miami were to pull off this upset because the ACC is hoping to get two in. We know their champion will go. Most people point to Clemson as the likely champion out of the ACC this year. If Miami beats another team that will likely be in the at-large category at season's end, that could be huge for the league as a whole. So massive fallout, massive implications, and we kind of just documented exactly how Miami might be able to get that done in week one. That game, check it out, Sunday night, ABC at 7:30 Eastern time. No other college football going on. So if you're not with us watching that game, you're probably doing something wrong or you just don't love ball. That's perfectly fine.